and welcome to my official, but not very official, listing of the top 10 Mantic miniatures that you can get. Big disclaimer.
First and foremost, it's just my opinion. Just my opinion!
Just my opinion. My criteria is that you have to be able to buy the miniature, and it's sold by Mantic, so while I think the Dungeon Saga minis are great and the League of Infamy miniatures are great, if you have to actually buy League of Infamy to get it, I might not have seen it. Also, you may disagree with my opinion. That's fine! The only difference between my opinion and your opinion is that your opinion is wrong. I think holding a mini in your hand and painting it yourself is the ultimate test. I've definitely not painted every mini they've ever made, nor have I seen 100% of Mantic minis up close, but I have seen quite a lot of them. But okay, let's go. These aren't in any order, they're just 10 great minis.
One of the newest additions to the Mantic lineup, and seemingly a universal favourite, even though if I'm really honest it's not to my personal taste, you can't deny this is a great miniature. Huge size, dramatic pose, ludicrously large weapon, the whole thing is a lot of fun. It's so fun, it's not cronius right out of this listing. Gotta give them credit, big scary demon monsters is right in Mantic's strong suite. Okay, so this is an older miniature and has now been taken over by a free download from the Mantic Vault if you've been a subscriber for 24 months, which doesn't meet the criteria. However, with so many of their older minis, the paint jobs and photography online with this model doesn't do it justice. The undead range is a really strong one despite its age, and this dragon is a fantastic part of it. This is the wingless version with a paint job that I personally prefer, but for some reason the wings and better head really upgrade this guy to a superbly characterful and sinister miniature. I've been meaning to get one for a while, only discouraged by the fact that the undead dragons really aren't that great in today's game. Here's hoping for version 4. I've painted nearly all of the Mantic Nightstalker and Twilightkin range. There are some strong and some, let's face it, much less strong options within. However, the Reapers are just superb. To be fair, they are a living hell to put together. I've cursed every designer from Ronnie downwards while gluing these Machiavellianly complex spiky bastards together. However, once you've been through that specific and perhaps appropriate torture, they just have a great verticality about them. You can stack them any which way on a base and make for a brilliantly sinister unit. They're so good they nudged out soul flares, which I also love. Printing them from the Vault is preferred, but be warned you might need to size them down just a little because for some reason the Vault version is like 20% bigger than it should be. And we're back with a classic. The Greater Fire Elemental is a great pose, superb execution, and it avoids the overly complicated fiddly details that are seemingly obligatory for more modern miniatures. It's great fun to paint, and since you can get it on the Mantic Vault now, you can print it any damn size you like. Am I thinking about printing a life-size one in several parts? Maybe. That's none of your business. I'm going to call him Dave. Goblins has always been a tough one because the GW Goblin range is so incredibly strong and full of character. Mantic's goblins veered away from the outright silliness of their orc-allied Warhammer brethren into a realm of outright nastiness. However, you can't avoid the fact that the Wingit is just plain old fun. A bucket of bolts and planks knocked together, the mini is satisfyingly large, has a ton of character, and is a ton of fun to paint. It's so fun it even knocked the Morpup launcher out of contention, which is quite an achievement given how fun an idea it is to launch ravenous dogs at your own troops to give them extra attacks. When it comes to individual character minis, there are actually a surprising number in the Mantic range that avoid their so often fallen into pitfalls like unpaintably tiny faces and lack of dynamic poses. I toyed briefly with the brilliant Twilightkin Assassin and the classic staple of the noble undead himself, Jarvis, before I settled on the Basilean Abbess. The Basilean range is tired and due for replacement, which is just as well, but this particular character is brilliantly characterful. It shows you can make a powerful and attractive female character without stupid armor, and her confident pose is a fantastic example of dynamic design without the mini having to stand on its head. Good job. Long-standing Mantic fans will know of the horrors of the original Drakon Riders, so these resin beauties are a huge upgrade. Available in the Vault means you can print as many as you like, and why wouldn't you? Great modelling, fantastic dynamism. What's not to love about little rideable vicious murder machines? Death by Drakons? Anyone? I was hesitant to stick another greater elemental in the list, but this water elemental is an absolute classic. It's difficult not to love. Simple to paint, but super effective sculpting. It's a look I wish they managed to carry over to some of their other aquatic minis. Just a shame the Greater Water Elemental doesn't really carry the punch of its excellent model rules-wise, but you know, you can't have it all. Of all the newer Ogre minis, I think the Paymaster is the best. There is some good competition, but it's another fantastic example of dynamic posing giving huge character without having to contort or make a nonsense of the miniature's anatomy. There's a ton of opportunity for creative painting here, and I love the little details. Just a fantastic example of a standalone character, although it's a little bemusing there's a whole mini for something that's a 15-point upgrade on an Ogre Sergeant. And last but absolutely not least, the absolute OGs of the Mantic range, the Mantic Zombies / Ghouls are some of their oldest minis and have stood the test of time the best. They're as good as any zombies I've ever seen in the market, rammed with character, and either on their own or in a giant legion are just fantastic, sinister and easy to paint. I really miss the type of plastic minis like these where you can mix and match whatever bodies, heads and legs you fancy. The move to static minis posed in only a single way is a huge downgrade, and any modern manufacturer who can crack this kind of character in a new range, in my mind, is absolutely onto a winner. So that's it. My top 10 Mantic models. What are yours? Let me know your favourite models in the comments and be sure to tell me how wrong and stupid I am with these choices. We'll see you next time for Mantic's top 10 worst minis, which is guaranteed to be entirely uncontroversial and get me into zero trouble. Toodaloo!